guys, welcome. We are at the first episode of the Game Changer podcast. My name is Nick Lombardi, and I am your host. I'm here with my friend and fellow entrepreneur, Matt Siracusa. And this is an exciting day for us because Matt is here on the inaugural journey here into my entree into the podcast world. So learning about the stories that make up people and their success and what appears to be an overnight success, as Matt, you and I both know, is nothing really is an overnight success, and how life experiences have shaped ourselves as individuals. So that's really, as we go through this Game Changer podcast month by month, every individual that I bring on is going to be talking about what's shaped them in business, in life, entrepreneurship, all different types of things, and how they've been inspired. So I want to just say that there's a book that I love, and I know you're not a big reader, which we've talked about, but there's a book by Tim Ferriss, and it's called Tribe of Mentors, and I'd recommend it. And that's kind of where I got a little bit of the inspiration to start this podcast. And I think what's interesting is, as I bring all the different guests in, like yourself, most of the people I've known for a long time, and met in different ways. So what Tim did in his book was ask the same questions to a host of different people to kind of hear about some of their life experiences, things that were important to them. And a lot of it was around business, but a lot of it was around personal too, and about giving advice. So that's kind of the format we're going to follow here, very, very loosely. Okay. So I just want to start jumping into some of these questions, and then we'll kind of see where it goes. Okay. So one of the things I kind of in preparation for today, I went back and I thought about when I met you for the first time and how I met you. And it was interesting. On November 21st, 2016, you sent me a LinkedIn message, and didn't know you from anybody. And come to find out, we had some mutual contacts, and we got together, and kind of the rest has been history. So I want to tell the world a little bit about who you are.
I just want to encourage anyone to, if you think there's somebody out there that may or may not be able to help you, or you may be able to help them, or just a really good connection. I thought we were going to have a relationship, which we have also through my family's moving company. Right. And you just happened to see WeWool as another line, on my profile. Yeah. And you were just coming out to meet, to talk about the moving, the commercial moving world. Right. I help you out. Right. We help each other out. And come to know it, you happen to know Chris over at Denali, and
right, that's right.
The name of the podcast, Game Changer. For me, it was a game changer just to know that someone on that capacity would even consider meeting with me, and then on top of it, end up pushing a purchase order through and getting some socks. So yeah, primarily online sales on our website.
What's the website?
It's WeWool.org.
Okay.
And all the donations go to World Vision, which is a $1 billion nonprofit. They're an amazing organization to work with, and I think that brings a lot of credibility.
So it's a couple of things, and it's the credibility of World Vision as your partner, and knowing that when somebody makes a purchase, the donation is going through that distribution channel. And I think, if we haven't really talked about it, and I want to dive into some of the Q&A here, but I think this is also important to set the stage, that you're a one-to-one company. So right, so for every sock that gets purchased, one gets donated.
Correct. I wanted to make sure that it was something that I would wear. They're all merino wool socks. There's a lighter model, a heavier model, so it's very practical for someone who's an outdoorsman. And then also, like today, I have a pair of the lighter ones on with some dress shoes. So the everyday person can wear them as well. I wanted them to be a little bit cleaner, more fashionable. And then the heavier model could look a little bit more rugged, because at that point you're going to be doing something either outside or snuggling up with your pajamas or something like that. Sure. To be honest with you, I really didn't know what I was doing at all. I knew nothing about the industry. I don't have a background in it. I just wanted to get people who needed socks.
So I think that's important, because I think a lot of times people get overwhelmed with the how to do something. And I think that, you get paralyzed by, well, I want to do this, and I think, your organization, I say, is mission driven too. And
Sure.
you're doing very noble work, but it probably would have been very easy for you to say, well, I don't know anything about this, kind of as you just said,
Sure.
and maybe. So how did you get to that point? And was it through conversation? Was it through?
Again, I go back to saying, reach out to people. The worst you can hear is no, and the best that can happen is they could say yes, they can meet with you, and it could just completely change everything.
Sure.
It's like we're so afraid to hear the word no. And I think once you kind of...
I don't hear the word no, by the way.
Yeah.
You know that about me.
Yeah, exactly. You almost, you blank it out because you just move on to the next thing.
Yeah, until you
move
get
on to the
yes.
next thing, the next person.
That's right.
It's not personal.
Let's get back into some of this here, more of the formal format. So I think it brings a very human side to people. And, I think that you're right. People have, especially in today's social media era, they see a lot of things of perception, what perception is. And I think one of the goals as we go episode by episode is for you to hear, look, celebrate your victories, but there is also in victory is failure, and how do you respond to that? So just to jump into this first question, so you kind of might have mentioned it a little bit, but do you have a mentor, and if so, how's that person or how those people have helped you?
To kind of have a mentor that covers every base. You have someone for business, someone for, if you have faith, someone for your faith. Just whatever it is, your relationships.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have a couple. I think probably my biggest one is my father, though. He was the best man at my wedding, and I just think throughout the years, just watching him, again, go through stuff and start up businesses, see them close down and start up another one, and just do whatever he could to provide for his family. And I think it's definitely my father would be my biggest mentor. It's just, we don't really ever say I love you to each other, out loud, but we just
show it.
We live it with each other. Yeah. And I think a lot of times when we're together, we're silent, we're just in the moment together, and
but there's comfort in that.
Yeah. So I think, my father's just helped me in every step of the way, just believing in me, and loving me. But I don't, for me, it's my dad.
Yeah.
100%.
That's excellent. And you touched on a couple of things that I think is a good lead in for our next question, because you talked about some of the trials that your dad went through in starting businesses and trying new things. So do you have, if you could pick one, do you have a behavior, a habit, or a ritual that you cannot live without, and why? And it could be a crazy ritual. It could be a one that you think is a common one, but just something. And if you do, why do you do it?
Well, I definitely think my faith, without that, is none of this would ever have happened. I've gone through some really tough stuff the last 2 years, and it's like...
Give me an example. Something that really tough that maybe happened.
So before I even listed a product on my website, right? Before the socks even arrived.
Yeah.
Literally, like within days of placing an order, I think it was like 7,000 or 8,000 pairs of socks. My wife lost what would have been our first baby. And I think that was one of those moments that, I felt it right away, where I'm like, okay, I'm just going to tell them, never mind.
Sure.
They'll find another buyer. They'll be able to give me my money back, whatever. But without my faith, I probably would have done that and just given up on my dream before it even really started.
Yeah.
And to see my wife too, just the support of, I go to Legacy Church in Farmington, Connecticut, and just our pastor and his wife were over our house. All these things had happened, and without prayer and digging into the word and the people that I met through my church, I think each and every one of them I can consider a mentor, just because they all had my back, And I get a call from my father that my best friend had passed away, 26 years old, just didn't wake up. And that was, that laid me down for probably about a month and a half. I didn't go to work. My uncle, thank God my uncle is my boss, because he was at my house. He saw how much it affected me. I called this guy every day on the way home from work.
Yeah.
He worked in Boston, great kid. And all of a sudden it's just like, boom, done. So then the weight of all these pallets coming to my house start to creep in. And again, you think you want to quit. And without my faith, again, I would have just given up. And for a while, I didn't want to have another friend, these crazy things just do stuff to you. And when you have your own business in the mix,
absolutely,
it's so easy to just let it all fall apart. And at that point I hadn't even started yet.
That's right.
Right. So, my faith is definitely a habit that I cannot live without.
So I think that, first of all, that was a very honest and sincere answer. And I think that's really, you kind of, to me, hit the note of why we're doing this podcast. Because again, you think about the moment that I met you and I went on your LinkedIn and I'm reading your bio and I'm going on your website and I'm watching videos of you delivering socks to homeless people in Hartford in the middle of the winter. And I'm looking at this like, this guy's got it all. This guy's doing it. And you are doing it. But when you hear about the side that nobody knows about, and by the way, people don't talk about it, right? So you would never show up to a dinner party and lead with that and say, hey, let me tell you about all the things that have happened to me that are horrible,
right?
But that have kind of made me the person that I am. So you lose a child, you lose your best friend, you at the same time you take your wedding money, you order a product that you don't know how you're going to sell,
no clue,
and thank God, honestly, that you had your faith. And they say it takes a village, and that's totally true. And I think for me, the takeaway is we all rely on people, right? And we're all people. And I think that's the human side of what the world is all about, right?
Sure.
So we got to help each other. We got to work together.
Yep.
And I think behind every success is a lot of stories that nobody knows about. So I'm going to ask a question that I already know the answer to. Sometimes that's fun to do.
Okay.
Do you love your life?
Do I love my life?
Do you love your life? Do you love it?
I do. People all the time ask me why I'm happy, and they just think like I'm a millionaire or something like that, and I'm like, no, I barely have anything left at the end of each month. And they're like, well, how are you so happy? I'm like, I get to come home. I play with my daughter for 2 hours before she goes to bed. I spend time with my wife, and I continuously do the things that I love, like fishing and hunting. Because I told my wife, I said, listen, when you met me, you fell in love with who I am. And these are the things, like I just went hunting with my dad in Missouri for 4 days. I said, I'm not running away from you. I'm not escaping from my life.
Right.
I'm just feeding my soul. I'm hitting the reset button, because before you met me, I did these things every day. So
I think you answered one of my other questions too, as you were responding to that. And it was, when you feel overwhelmed, what do you do to refocus? And I think, if I'm incorrect, let me know. But I think that by never losing sight of the things that you love to do, the things that have helped to shape you, finding outlets, that you never let go of, that's what kind of helps you through the day to day, right? I mean, so people lose that. Don't you think that people
definitely? And I think everyone needs to find their desert, find their mountain.
Love that.
And for me, it just happens to be, mountains and stuff like that.
Yeah. And that helps you. It helps you be a business owner, a husband, a father, a friend, a son. Everything, I think, across the board, all is rooted in who you are and what makes you you. So I knew that you loved your life, but it was important for me to ask you why you loved your life first, how you refocus, because I think my next question is, and you and I don't live this way. Why do you think people, and I hope that people that listen to this, and maybe they are this way, why do people, there's no way to put it, why do they settle? Why do they go to work at a job that they hate?
I think people are afraid. They're definitely afraid. I think a lot of people don't love themselves.
Yeah.
You asking me, do you love your life? That just forced me. I paused for a second there, because I almost want to tear up, because I just had all these things go through my brain, and it was amazing. That was an amazing experience for me. You just asking me that question.
I'm glad. Yeah. Do you have a personal motto, a single personal motto that you? live by? Or I mean, we've covered a lot of ground, and in your
And just so you guys know, this guy right here drove all the way to my meeting with Denali after I think we only met each other once or twice before then.
Yep.
And sat in the meeting. I was thinking like maybe he knows something I don't know, and he's like a genius in the retail world. And he says like, I don't know anything about what you guys are talking about, but he pointed at me and said, I know this kid right here and I know his heart. And he looked at Chris and he said, this kid deserves a shot. And that to me was like one of the nicest, most impactful things anyone's ever done for me.
Thank you, buddy.
You know,
why don't you tell everyone what it says in your email signature?
It says, let's change the world together.
You know how many times I say that to myself because of you? Just know that. That's a powerful statement right there.
So that's literally my goal is to shake up the corporate retail world. And it's tough. Like I had nothing to start with, and I did 20,000, right? And that's just awesome people going on my website.
That's right.
Imagine what a purchase order could do, right?
This has been great. I hope you enjoyed our conversation.
Yeah, I'm excited to.
We're gonna
see
share
who's
it.
next.
We're gonna share it. We're gonna post it. One of the things I want to make sure I do every time is also tell our viewers and listeners, if they shoot me an email at nicksgamechanger@gmail.com, that they can maybe be introduced to you if you're open to that. We can also, obviously, the website. We're going to share all of your contact information.
Yeah, I'll give you my email, number, anything.
Get out there. So also for anyone that's tuning into this, again, send me an email. You all know how to contact me. I've had the same cell phone number since I was 16, so I'm easy to reach. I want to thank Company Cubed, Byron, Nicole, Jill, and Sam, who helped put this whole thing together as we were kind of in uncharted territory. So
this is cool, man.
We have one final plug I want to talk about, and it is a plug because you and I share, I think, a love of coffee.
Yeah, man.
And one of the things I wanted to do for this podcast is talk about Silk City Coffee. We got the mugs here. Your friend Robbie. They're on Main Street in Manchester, Connecticut. They got a great spot there. I didn't know what to order, so I ordered like 3 different types of coffee.
I witnessed that.
Yes, you did. And I didn't sleep that night, which is okay, which is good. But
they're pros. They do
Check
it
them
right.
out.
It's clean. Sarah baked all the baked goods. Rob has gone over the world getting the coffee himself, and it's just an awesome place. And Manchester really needed it, especially Main Street there. And they do amazing things for the community.
So as you're heading up 84 to Boston next time, jump off the highway in Manchester. Go check them out. And as every episode I do, we'll be showcasing a different local coffee shop.
That's a great idea.
I'm not even going to tell people about it. I just kind of, as because I travel all over the state for the business that I do, and all over New England, and I try to hit up as many coffee shops local that I can. So,
well, I can tell you as a brand, it may not seem like very much to you, but I can tell you right now, it's going to be huge for them because no doubt in my mind, this is going to become successful. I mean, you're doing it right from the beginning.
I got you. Of course, I'm doing it right from the beginning.
Well, I didn't mean that, but we're in a studio. We had these fancy headphones. That
we chose not to wear.
I wanted to wear them because I thought they looked cool, but Nick didn't. So, I think this is going to be great. And
thanks, buddy.
I mean, you mean it from the bottom of your heart that they're great because they're not paying you for this. And
no, they were awesome.
That shows you who you are too. So,
thank you.
Man, thanks for
You're welcome.
Thanks for having me, and I can't wait to see who else you get on here and see what happens.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna keep it going, and the first one is over. We did it.
That's it, man.
Done. That's it. Shut it down.